Chapter 40. When I still have money, I can't spend it all. A dirty Wuling car was parked at the gate of Century Garden Area 2 in Haedong District. There were only 2 people in the car. Each one is greasier than the other. They had just received the boss's order and had made some preparations before rushing over. The boss's request was not just to take photos, but also to install a bug. Although this is not difficult, it is not that easy to do, especially since the boss said we have to get it done in the shortest possible time. If they weren't paid a lot, they would definitely choose to do this only at night. Both of them were wearing work clothes from a local housekeeping service company and looked like they were doing housekeeping work. The driver put his arm on the car window, chatted with the security guard, lifted the gear lever, and they drove smoothly into Zone 2. There are more than 30 villas in Century Garden District 2, most of which were purchased by business people. The real noble people do not live in Haedong District. As for how many people in these 2 areas are kept, they have only heard about it, but their current target must be. Who would want to eavesdrop on a mistress's home? No one would do this except the wife of the first wife. The 2 of them chatted and murmured as they drove slowly along the way. 13 buildings. This villa is not a 3-story villa, but a small 2-story villa. After they parked the car, they started to move. Chin Balian was not at home at this time. Fang Junhung did not tell her in advance that he would come, so she arranged to have dinner with her friends at Tianyun Pavilion Restaurant in the city. Only after receiving a call from Fang Junhung did she hurried back. 2 housekeeping service workers installed a camera in the green belt between the 2 villas and adjusted it for a while before getting up. Then the 2 men went around the back wall of the villa and climbed over it. After placing some small things in each room, I left. Half an hour later, Chin Balian came back. Her car and the Wuling passed each other, and neither of them paid attention to each other. The 2 tools didn't even pay attention to what the hostess of Building 13 looked like. The function of a camera is to obtain image data, and the function of a bug is to obtain audio data. With these, it is enough to report to the boss. The boss said that he would give each of them 10,000 yuan just for this vote. As for how much the boss took, it has nothing to do with them. Everyone earns their own money. This is how the business works. No one is responsible for the other. We can cooperate at any time, and we can separate at any time. Time flies. The weather in Yuncheng is really too hot. At least 80% of the people in the driving school are students who have just finished the college entrance examination. He did get to know a few boys, but it was only to have lunch together or something like that. It was the rule to give cigarettes as a gift, so he didn't feel too bad about it. He has been at the driving school from morning to night these days. He goes out early and comes back late, and even eats dinner out. This made Chen Xiuhui mention him twice on the phone. Ever since I hung up the phone with Zhao Wei that night, I have been much quieter now. He himself also has a mild social anxiety disorder. Well, this is also the Fang family's fault. Yes, that's it. That night he brought Hui 2 skewers of grilled wings, a portion of grilled eggplant, and a dozen charcoal grilled garlic oysters, and also brought the girl a glass of iced sour plum juice. This is the cold drink he is willing to bring for the girl besides milk tea. When I got home, dinner had already been served. He had told her on the phone that he would bring food for the girl. When she saw him come back, Hui rushed over, took the plastic bag, said thank you, Brother Ping'an, and rushed to the dining table. Chen Xiahua and his wife sat on the sofa watching TV. Everything was no different from usual. He changed his shoes and just sat down at the dining table to tease Chen Xiuhui when he heard Chen Xiahua say, "This afternoon, a woman who said she was your second sister came to the store to look for you." Fang Ping'an frowned slightly, turned around and sat down on the sofa. "I told her you were learning to drive, and she left. I didn't say what it was that I wanted to talk to you about in person. I even gave her your phone number, but people said you blocked her," Liu Qing said with a trace of worry on her face. "Mom knows that you and the Fang family have fallen out, so she won't block your phone number. If you have any grievances, tell Mom and let your dad go and settle the score with them." Chen Xiuhui puffed up her cheeks. Her mouth was stuffed with food, and she was looking over here with her face tilted while chewing. Fang Ping'an smiled and said, "It shouldn't be a big deal, I'll just call her later." "Mom and Dad, don't worry, I'm fine." Chen Xiahua carefully looked at his expression and nodded. "Just tell us if you have anything to say. I can assure you that no matter what problem you have, Dad can basically handle it for you. Don't worry, don't be afraid, understand?" Fang Ping'an's smile gradually widened. "Okay, got it. I'll tell you directly if I have anything to say. Everyone knows how powerful Mr. Chen, the boss of Jiangnan's snack shop in Zhengyuan Street is. The street office has to call him Big Brother when they see him. Chen Xiuhui burst out laughing and said, "Ha ha, ha ha, ha, Dad, you're so awesome. Ha ha, ha, I'm dying of laughter." Chen Xiaohua's face choked, then he shook his head and sighed. "What nonsense are you talking about, kid?" Liu Qing was also amused. For a moment, the living room was filled with laughter. Fang Ping'an returned to the dining table and tore off a piece of paper to help clean up what Chen Xiuhui had sprayed out. "Dad, you're just too busy. I've already told you you should quit running that shop. You've been working from dawn to dusk for so many years. Look at you and my mom, we look so old. The rent from those houses is enough to cover the family expenses, so there is really no need to work so hard." Chen Xiaohua said nothing. Liu Qing said, "Kid, aren't you just living off your savings? If you go to college and find a girlfriend in the future, won't it cost money? Are you thinking of spending the girl's money while dating her? Will you not need money to buy a house when you get married in the future? We are both in good health, and how can I look old?" Fang Ping'an then realized that he indeed did not buy any supplements or cosmetics for the two elders. This was something he had neglected. "If I had known earlier, I should have bought them all." Chen Xiuhui said, "Brother, you are just talking nonsense. What's the use of just talking about it? You can just buy it for your mom. Do you think she can afford to buy cosmetics herself?" Liu Qing immediately scolded. Hui, don't give your brother bad advice. I don't need those things." Chen Xiaohua seemed to have thought of something, and there was a hint of guilt and self-blame in his eyes when he looked at Liu Qing. It was a blessing for Liu Qing to marry him. "Honey, I'll take you to buy cosmetics tomorrow. No matter how expensive they are, as long as we have enough money, we'll buy them." Chen Xiaohua's words were so decisive that Liu Qing actually laughed. "I'm old now, why would I spend that money on those things? I'm fine now and don't feel that old. It's time for you to take some health supplements." Fang Ping'an waved his hand and said, "Mom and Dad, leave this matter to me. I still have money, I can't spend it all." Chen Xiuhui immediately raised the chicken wings in her hand and said, "Brother, I want some too." Chapter 42, You Are in Danger. "Miss Fang, have you been to my father's shop?" After returning to the room, he called Fang Jinglei. Strangely, he wasn't angry, nor did he feel he should be angry. He was in a pretty calm mood. Besides, he also wanted to know whether the big news about the Fang family had been revealed. "Ping-an, are you home? I heard from your adoptive father that you were learning to drive. Can I ask my elder sister to give you a car? What kind of car do you like?" When Fang Jinglei heard Chen Xiaohua say that Ping-an was learning to drive, she had already decided to give him a car. Although, apart from birthday and New Year red envelopes, she had never given Fang Ping'an anything. Fang Ping'an smiled and said, "No, I don't need a car, and I don't want one from the Fang family. I will earn money to buy it when I need it." "What exactly do you want from me? Can you just tell me directly?" Fang Jinglei said, "I have already received the paternity test report, but I didn't have time to tell you last time. Fang Hongzhen is our father's illegitimate son. Just like you said, his mother is Qin Balian." Fang Ping'an curled the corners of his mouth, but said nothing. Fang Jinglei seemed to be afraid that he would hang up the phone, and continued in one breath. "Our mother, eldest sister, and your third sister are all in my uncle's house in Shanghai now. You don't have to get involved in this matter, and we won't get involved. The Zhao family will step in to resolve it." Also, Fang Hongzhen did know that Qin Balian was his biological mother. The day before yesterday, he and our father went to see Qin Balian. Now we have not only photos, but also recordings, which can prove that this incident is true. Fang Ping'an asked calmly, "What does this have to do with me?" Fang Jinglei, "Fang Hongzhen and you both said that you have the same inheritance rights. Don't you understand yet? You are in danger." Fang Ping'an sneered, "Who wants the Fang family stuff? If Fang Hongzhen wants it, just give it to him. I have said this many times. I have no interest in your family affairs. If you have nothing else to do, just hang up. Don't waste your feelings on me. I don't need them either." Fang Jinglei was quiet for a moment. Fang Ping'an heard it clearly, and there was a hint of pleading in her voice. "Ping-an, you still won't forgive me. It was all our fault in the past. We ignored you and treated you and Fang Hongzhen differently. It was all our fault. Now we know our mistakes. I really regret it and feel very guilty. I want to make it up to you and get your forgiveness. Why are you so cruel to yourself?" After a long silence, Fang Ping'an said calmly, "Because when I decided to give you one last chance to choose, you all chose Fang Hongzhen without exception. And at that time, you didn't know that he was an illegitimate child. The only reason you chose him is because in your eyes, he is more important than me. All of you chose Fang Hongzhen, not me. From the moment I stepped out of the Fang family, all of you are no longer family in my eyes. It's me who doesn't want you anymore. No matter how you try to make amends, it's useless. I will not accept your apology, and I will never forgive any of you. I know I might be in danger, but it has nothing to do with you. I have my own parents and family, but they don't include you. From now on, don't bother my parents again, or don't blame me for being rude to you. Thinking back to his 4 years at the Fang family, especially what happened that night, Fang Pingin's heart grew cold again. He didn't think he had done anything wrong. As far as he knew, the only blood relationship that bound him was to support his parents. As for Fang Junhong and Zhao Wei, neither of them needs his support. And even if they do, they don't have much money. It doesn't put any pressure on yourself. So that's it. Not only did he remain silent, but Fang Jinglei on the opposite side also remained silent. Fang Pingin didn't know what the person on the other side was thinking, and he didn't care. After hanging up the phone and throwing it directly on the bed, he stood up and opened the door. A little head was standing at the door, listening attentively. Fang Pingin was suddenly at a loss whether to laugh or cry, and he reached out and hit him on the head. "What are you doing? You're such a grown-up and you're still eavesdropping." "Ouch, that hurts, brother." Chen Xiuhui covered her head and started screaming. Fang Pingin said with a smile, "I'm already out, why aren't you leaving? Have you finished your homework? How many points can I get? Is there any hope of being in the top 3 in the grade? Or are you able to skip a grade?" The series of questions made Chen Xiuhui dizzy. Chen Xiuhui was smart enough to raise her hands in surrender and said, Okay, I'll go back to my room to do my homework. I don't know how many points I will get. I can't get into the top 3, and the teacher won't allow me to skip a grade. If you have any other requests, please tell me and see if I can answer them." After watching her turn around and run back to her room and close the door, Fang Pingin walked to the living room and poured himself a glass of water and drank it. Chen Xiahua and his wife have returned to their room to rest. They had to get up at 3 in the morning, so they went to bed early. There is a small light on in the living room, which is kept on for convenience in drinking water at night. Fang Pingin walked to the sofa and sat down. "I'm going to Shanghai to find my uncle. It seems like I can't let this matter go easily." Although this is normal, Zhao Wei did not face Fang Junhong directly, but handed all the evidence to the Zhao family. It seems that Zhao Wei has a deep hatred for Fang Junhong. If the Zhao family comes forward, they will definitely not confront Fang Junhong directly. They will probably go to the capital to ask for an explanation from the Fang family's old residents. I just don't know what will happen to Fang Hongjun and Qin Balian. To Zhao Wei, Fang Hongjun is an illegitimate child. But to the Fang family, Fang Hongjun is the heir, and regardless of his background, he is indeed an outstanding young talent. No one knew that guy was also a murderer. The deceased had been with him. In this life, even if the Zhao family intervened, Fang Junhong would probably be fine. At most, he would give some shares to Zhao Wei. Apart from this, he couldn't think of any other outcome. According to the current situation, Fang Hongjun must go abroad. Neither the Fang family nor the Zhao family could kill him, at least not openly. Going abroad is an explanation to everyone. Going with his mother, as long as he promises never to come back, Zhao Wei will not be able to say anything against it. Unlike staying in the country in the previous life, there may be new changes after going abroad. Once he goes abroad, then in Fang Pingin's world, the villains will change the map, so wouldn't future events also change? In other words, if you can survive, you will face a brand new future. Just like if I hadn't died in the previous life, I would be facing a completely new experience as myself. Unpredictable. Well, this is all written in the novel. Fang Pingin suddenly thought of this, and a smile appeared on his lips. So in my world, I am the protagonist. No matter who the opponent is, I am the protagonist. Even if I am a supporting role in other people's world, to me, I am the center of this world. Live for yourself. Chapter 43. I raised his mistress's child for 18 years, brother. 43. Let's go back a few days. Magic City. Zhao Yuankai, the Deputy Minister of Commerce, turned down all invitations for tonight. His only sister, Zhao Weiwei, came to see him with her 2 nieces. There hasn't been frequent contact over the years. When Zhao Weiwei married Fang Junhong, he was just a section chief, and this position was only achieved with the help of his family. Right now he can't be said to be omnipotent, but it's almost the same. As long as you don't make any mistakes, you can basically see what the next few years will look like. Now he has reached the top, and is just waiting to be transferred to other provinces. His wife Tang Yan is the daughter of a local wealthy family. He was lucky enough to meet her at Shanghai University of Finance and Economics, and he had no idea about Tang Yan's family background at that time. It was not until the two of them fell in love that they revealed their family backgrounds. It's funny, at that time, the two of them almost said at the same time that they were just ordinary people. Their two children are all abroad. One of the couple is working hard to make progress, while the other is concentrating on running their own chain of beauty salons. They are rich and powerful, and their life is too comfortable. Zhao Weiwei didn't say much on the phone, which made him not think much about it. After he arranged for his secretary to take her home, he discovered that Zhao Weiwei's eyes were red and swollen. Tang Yan is on a business trip and not in Shanghai, so we don't have to meet. Tang Yan looked down on Zhao Weiwei, a girl who was cowardly and easily satisfied, so the two stopped contacting each other soon after they met. Where are King Yin and the others? When Zhao Yunkai saw that Zhao Weiwei was the only one there, he started to ask. Zhao Weiwei shook her head and said, "They went to the hotel, don't worry about them." Zhao Yunkai stared into her eyes. It was obvious that she must have been crying for a long time. He nodded calmly, "Okay, come in first." Zhao Yunkai's family had no nanny or servants. The couple cooks everything themselves or just eats out. Tang Yan was not there and he had no time to cook, so the brother and sister sat in the living room. "Can I tell you now?" Zhao Yunkai poured a cup of tea and placed it in front of Zhao Weiwei. Zhao Weiwei couldn't help but start crying again. "Brother, that beast Fang Junhong deceived me for 18 years. Hongjun is the child he brought back. I raised him as my own son. But only now did I find out that Hongjun is actually the son of Fang Junhong and that bitch Qin Balian. Brother, I raised his mistress's child for 18 years, brother." Zhao Yunkai was completely stunned by these words. "Zhao Weiwei, oh Zhao Weiwei, how stupid are you to have been kept in the dark for 18 years? He couldn't even control the expression on his face. After Zhao Weiwei took out the appraisal report from her bag, Zhao Yunkai was indeed a little angry. Although Zhao Weiwei is stupid, she is still a member of the Zhao family after all. Neither of their brothers had ever bullied her, so how could it be the Fang family's turn to bully her? Looking at the appraisal report placed in front of him, Zhao Yunkai picked it up, read it once, and then put it down lightly. "What result do you want?" he asked without hesitation. "Tell me your idea. If it's feasible, I'll tell my brother. Let Big Brother go directly to the Fang family's old house and ask their old man Fang." Zhao Weiwei was still crying, but her face immediately turned grim after hearing this. "I want Qin Balian to die with that evil creature." The way she gritted her teeth made Zhao Yunkai feel a little toothache. "What are you thinking about? We live in a country ruled by law, and even though the child is an illegitimate child, he can still inherit the family property. You want someone to die, how should he die? My brother and I will go and kill him." Zhao Weiwei didn't say anything, but just shed tears silently, looking extremely pitiful. Zhao Yunkai thought for a moment and said, "Well, you go back to the hotel and fly to Beijing tomorrow. I'll call my brother and tell him about this. It is impossible for you to want the mother and child to die. At most, you can drive them out of the country. The other thing is that you get some compensation, and your family gives you some. I guess that's about it." Zhao Weiwei cried and talked from time to time, which gave Zhao Yunkai a headache. To be honest, it was Zhao Weiwei who was stupid, and he didn't have much sympathy for her. The only thing he thought about was how much benefit this incident could bring to himself and the Zhao family. If he were the eldest brother, he would probably only meet Zhao Weiwei once, and after finding out all the facts and evidence, he would not care about her anymore. "I'm already 50 years old and my life is like this. Who can I blame? If you want to blame your family, that is absolutely not possible." After Zhao Weiwei left, Zhao Yunkai immediately called his elder brother Zhao Yuanlong. "This matter is over with him." Zhao Weiwei was still hungry when she returned to the hotel. The comfort Zhao Yunkai gave her was equivalent to nothing, and it made her very dissatisfied. How could this be possible? He treated his own sister in such a professional manner, which really made her angry. But her second brother had been in a high position for a long time, and his aura made her dare not be too presumptuous. It's true that she came to ask for help, but there's no need to send her away in such a perfunctory manner. Fang Qingyan was in her room, looking through the information in her email. There are not many photos, only those of Fang Junhong, Qin Balian, and Fang Hongjun walking into Century Garden Villa together. There are also photos of them walking out and getting into the car. What made Fang Qingyan angry was that they actually stayed at Qin Balian's place for one night, including Fang Hongjun. What else does this mean? This shows that Fang Hongjun knows very well who his biological parents are. Looking at the photos on the phone, Fang Qingyan's face looked ugly, but she didn't say anything to Fang Jidi. What really made her angry was what her father Fang Junhong said. After listening to it once, she went to Fang Jidi's room. Listen to it yourself and hear what kind of person the well-behaved and sensible brother Hongjun in your mind really is. Fang Jidi had a defiant look on her face, but when she finished listening, her expression changed. Why is brother Hongjun like this? This, big sister, you didn't ask someone to edit it. Fang Qingyan wanted to slap her and snatched her phone away. Believe it or not, I don't want to say anything more to you. I warn you, if you dare to contact Fang Hongjun privately, don't even think about getting a penny from your family. Don't even think about working at the law firm anymore. I will notify Lawyer Gu to terminate our relationship with you. You'll have to find a way to support yourself then. Or follow your brother Hongjun and see if he can support you. This was the scene that Zhao Weiwei saw when she came back. It has to be said that, in comparison, Fang Jidi is closest to Zhao Weiwei at home. This time, she was arranged to share a room with her mother, but Fang Qingyan always lived alone. Mom, Fang Qingyan explained. Last night, my dad and Hongjun went to Century Garden and stayed at Qin Balian's place for one night. I have photos and I have recordings. Zhao Weiwei said angrily. Send it to me and I will pass it to your second uncle. Chapter 44, I will be there on time. Zhao Wei cried again. After Fang Qingyan sent the photos and audio files to her, she then sent them to Fang Jinglei. Lele, see if you can meet with Fang Ping'an and let him listen to this recording. It would be best if he could take us off the blacklist. Otherwise, if you can't find him when something happens in the future, it will be very dangerous. Fang Jinglei received the document and started to get anxious after listening to it. No matter what Fang Hongjun was going to do, at least Fang Junhong knew it. This is what Fang Qingyan and Fang Jinglei find most terrifying. When two men were fighting each other, he actually supported one of them. Do you really think this is a change of dynasty and a fight for the throne? Not only is it infuriating, it's also ridiculous. So starting from the next day, Fang Jinglei went to Chen Xiaohua's house and knocked on the door, but no one was home. Fang Ping'an was learning to drive at a driving school at this time, so she ran to Jiangnan's snack shop to find Chen Xiaohua and his wife to inquire about Ping'an's news. Regardless of what Zhao Wei and Zhao Yuankai thought, or whether the Zhao family in Beijing really went to the Fang family's old house, for Fang Ping'an, these had nothing to do with him. He just stared blankly for a while after finishing his phone call with Fang Jinglei, and then let the matter go. He really wanted to know whether Fang Hongjun would attack him again, as he did in his previous life if he was prepared. It has been 3 days, and Zhao Wei and the others have not returned home yet. This made Fang Hongjun feel inexplicably palpitating. He called Fang Qingyan, and the answer he got was that she was still in Shanghai picking out gifts, clothes, and other things. The third sister, who was the easiest to control, also turned off her phone. How could he know that it was Fang Qingyan who confiscated Fang Jidi's cell phone, fearing that she would let the secret slip? According to Gu Beibai, Fang Jidi is a good person at work, but even at home, he really speaks without restraint and has a very bad temper. Neither Zhao Wei nor the others planned to contact him now. Only Fang Jinglei kept her phone turned on to ensure that she could receive Fang Ping'an's call. So when Fang Hongjun called her cell phone, Fang Jinglei took a long time to prepare before answering the call. Second sister, are you with mom and eldest sister? Fang Hongjun's voice was as gentle as usual, but at this moment, Fang Jinglei just felt a little scared. Yeah, what's wrong? Is there anything? Fang Hongjun asked. Oh, nothing, it's just that the house is so empty all of a sudden, I'm not used to it. Isn't Dad home? We'll be back in a few days. You are the only one at home. Please help us take good care of Dad, okay? Fang Jinglei couldn't think of anything to say, and could only follow his lead. I dare not say a single word more. She carefully controlled her emotions, afraid of letting even a little bit of them leak out. She knew very well how sensitive her brother Hongjun was. Fortunately, Fang Hongjun didn't talk for long and hung up the phone quickly. Fang Jinglei put down her phone, leaned back on the sofa in the hotel and pinched her brows. What she didn't know was that Fang Hongjun actually called Fang Ping'an at this moment. When he received the call, Fang Ping'an had just finished practicing driving and replaced the car with a young girl. He drank some water while taking out his cell phone. Fang Hongjun, a smile appeared on Fang Ping'an's face. It's finally here. Hello, he answered the phone. Brother Ping'an, where are you? Fang Hongjun's voice still sounded so disgusting. What's wrong? What happened? Fang Ping'an would not tell him where he was, so he asked back. Fang Hongjun stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling window in his room, watching the servants taking care of the flower beds in the yard. How did you do in the college entrance examination? Fang Ping'an was stunned for a moment. No way, didn't you hear about being the top student in the province in science when you went to school to pick up your transcript? Not bad, about the same as expected. How about you? Fang Ping'an knew that this was all a foreshadowing, and he really wanted to hear whether Fang Hongjun wanted to ask him out. I'm almost there. Brother Ping'an, I'm going abroad in a few days. Fang Ping'an said nothing. Brother, I want to meet with you and talk. What to talk about? What do you have to talk to me about? Fang Ping'an's tone was a little cold. Fang Hongjun smiled and said, Brother Ping'an, I know you don't like me. However, your attitude doesn't matter to me. 18 years. I have been with my mother for 18 years, and you have only been here for 4 years. No matter what, I am the one who is loved more by my mother and sisters. Fang Ping'an curled the corners of his mouth and listened to Fang Hongjun without saying a word. He knew that it was possible that Fang Hongjun already knew that his identity had been exposed and was trying to be tough with him. You know what, Fang Ping'an, from the first day you came home, I knew you were no match for me. Even if you are my biological child, so what? No one in your family likes you, not a single one. Everyone hates you, including your own mother. Do you know why? Fang Ping'an calmly interrupted. Could it be that you are the one who did something bad in the middle? Fang Hongjun laughed a few times. That's not the case. At most, I'll just frame you, say something bad about you, or spread a rumor or something. Because even if the whole family doesn't need to stand on my side, you are still no match for me. I can handle it myself. Fang Ping'an raised his eyebrows, took a sip of water, and looked at the young people who were laughing because the little girl started the car, and it jumped up and down. Oh, what are you going to do to me? I have nothing to do with the Fang family now, and I don't care about them. Even if I had some opinions about you in the past, there is no need for that now. I am doing very well now. Fang Hongjun turned around and returned to his chair, with his feet up and placed on the table. He smiled. Forget it, you have completely lost your fighting spirit. There's no point in bothering you anymore. I think it was more fun in the past, looking at you like a dog, wagging its tail and begging for mercy, longing for your family to pay more attention to you. Now I feel it's meaningless. If you have time, come out and sit together. I will be going abroad in a while, so I don't think we will have a chance to meet again. Fang Ping'an laughed. What? You're not coming back after you go out? Don't forget the Fang family has so much property. I don't want it, so do you not want it either? I remember that Mr. Fang Junhong and Ms. Zhao Wei have always wanted to train you to be the heir of the Fang family. If you don't come back, who will you give all this property to? Fang Hongjun chuckled and said, It's mine, you can't take it away from me. If it's not yours, no matter how hard you try, it's useless. Fang Ping'an paused before replying, Okay, where shall we meet? Give me a time and place and I'll try to be there on time. About 10 o'clock at night. My parents and sisters are not coming back today. You can relax a little. Did you know about the Juliflower bar? I'll meet you at the back door of the Juliflower at 10 o'clock sharp. Fang Ping'an smiled silently. I'm curious about what you want to tell me in person. 10 o'clock, right? I'll be there on time. Chapter 45, wanting to make Fang Hongjun suffer a big loss. In the previous life, although it was not this day, Fang Hongjun's attitude and tone were the same as today. Of course, because Fang Ping'an's answer was different from that in his previous life, Fang Hongjun used different words. Similarly, this was the first time Fang Hongjun spoke frankly about his disdain for himself. In my previous life, because I was extremely eager to be recognized by my family, I had never considered the concept of family property, but I was still angered by Fang Hongjun's attitude and tone. Go to the appointment without hesitation. Oh, in the previous life, the place for the appointment was also Juliflower, and Fang Hongjun made the call in the bar. And I started from home. However, when Fang Hongjun suggested that they meet in the alley behind the bar, he became furious and went there without thinking much. It was in that alley that he was put in a sack. This time, not only was the call time brought forward, but I was also not at home. He didn't know where Fang Hongjun was now, but he would definitely go there. What he needed to confirm was whether Fang Hongjun would appear in the bar around 10 o'clock in the evening. If so, then there is no doubt that it is exactly the same as in the previous life. Today is the day when something bad will happen to me. It seems that no matter whether Fang Jinglei and the others really think they are in danger, at least this reminder is well-intentioned. After hanging up the phone, Fang Ping'an stood there and slowly drank the water in the bottle. He has used up all his opportunities to practice driving today, and he probably won't have a chance to go for a second round. After thinking about it, he simply said hello to the other students and went home directly. The bar is far away from his driving school, and it takes at least 40 minutes to get there by taxi. If you leave from home, it only takes less than 20 minutes. Today is Saturday. When he returned home, Chen Xiuhui was happily playing games on her tablet. Fang Ping'an took a shower and returned to his room, thinking about countermeasures for a long time. He originally wanted to ask Chen Xiuhui to help call the police, but he didn't want to put the girl in danger. After thinking it over, he finally took out Fang Junhong's phone number and set it to button 1. After thinking about his plan again, he went out to prepare dinner with peace of mind. It was just past 5 o'clock and not yet time for dinner, but he was indeed hungry. My parents were still the same and refused to close the shop. The girl is playing games at home, so I might as well cook for myself. Although my cooking skills are average, it's edible. Chen Xiuhui was curled up on the sofa and napping happily. She only put down the tablet when she saw Fang Ping'an walk into the kitchen and start picking vegetables. "Brother, do you want to cook for yourself?" The little girl put on her slippers and ran over to look at him. "Well, I don't want to go out to eat today, so I'll just make myself a bowl of noodles. Do you want to eat?" Fang Ping'an took out a handful of Shanghai greens and planned to learn how to make stir-fried noodles. Chen Xiuhui shook her head vigorously, and her ponytail swung back and forth at the back of her head. "No, brother, can you treat me to a barbecue?" The girl stared at him with longing eyes, looking a little cute. A first-year high school student should be more mature, right? Why does this girl still look like a child? Fang Ping'an put down the vegetables in his hand and asked with a smile, "I want to too, but it's still early. Why don't you play for a while? Can I take you there at 7:30 or 8? But my parents will be back by then." Chen Xiuhui pouted and said, it's okay, let's go eat early and then call mom and dad to let them know. Otherwise, brother, why don't you tell dad now?" Fang Ping'an reached out and scratched her nose. "Barbecue is delicious, but it's not healthy. You should know this." Chen Xiuhui took a half step back and said, "It's not like I eat it every day. I can't even count it as occasionally now, okay?" Fang Ping'an dropped the vegetables in his hand and said, "But I'm hungry now, otherwise I wouldn't be cooking now." Chen Xiuhui stood up and laughed. "That's okay, I'm hungry too. Brother, wait for me, I will change my clothes." After saying that, without waiting for Fang Ping'an to say anything, she ran back to her room to change clothes. Fang Ping'an actually didn't care, but at this time, many snack and barbecue stalls have already come out. Barbecue is probably not available yet, but various snacks have definitely started to be sold. The girl likes all kinds of snacks, just like other little girls. Fang Ping'an didn't say anything. He just washed his hands and waited. After a while, the girl changed into a short-sleeved t-shirt and denim shorts, revealing her straight legs. "She looks fresh and pretty. What a pretty girl." She stuffed her phone into her hip pocket. "Brother, I'm ready, let's go." The process of eating with the girl on the street is quite enjoyable, and there are indeed many long and white legs strolling in the snack street. Fang Ping'an thinks Yun Cheng is great. There are beauties everywhere. Although he didn't have any ideas, he just simply liked looking at beautiful women. But in fact, he was quite anxious. Why does time go so slowly? He was a little impatient to make Fang Hongjun suffer a great loss. As for whether he would kill the little silver coin, he had no confidence at all. But at least I can earn some interest. He deliberately changed into a pair of running shoes, a pair of looser sweatpants, a black short-sleeved top, and a baseball cap. The cell phone was in his trouser pocket, but he was carrying a small cross-body bag with 2 cans of Coke in it. He didn't understand much else, but he knew that if he swung this thing and hit someone, the effect would be just right. What he is most worried about now is that he will be put in a sack when he is alone. If he and Fang Hongjun were kidnapped together, he would not be afraid at all, because he wouldn't let that happen. Chen Xiuhui was full and continued playing games very comfortably. When Fang Ping'an went out, Chen Xiaohua and his wife had not returned yet. He first took a taxi to the bar and walked around the street where the bar was. The alley that Fang Hongjun was talking about was actually not a main street, but a very small dead end. There are a dozen large trash cans and 2 huge garbage bins neatly lined up at the back door of the bar. He wandered around the back door for a long time, figuring out where everything was, then slowly walked out. This alley only has the back door of the bar and nothing else. Also, there is a camera here, but it must be broken. Just after 9 o'clock, he walked into the bar and found a seat in the corner. Here, he could clearly see everyone who walked into the bar. He casually asked for a bottle of fruit wine, placed it in front of him, and waited quietly. Although there were people in the bar, it wasn't very crowded. Most of the booths are still empty. However, when the time came to 9:30, there were suddenly more people coming. Fang Ping'an was worried that he would not be able to see the people coming, so he simply walked to the door and sat down. With only 10 minutes left until 10 o'clock, Fang Ping'an finally saw Fang Hongjian. Chapter 46, Dating 1. He didn't know why Fang Hongjian came so late. In his previous life, he was kidnapped and sent to that abandoned warehouse alone. I saw Fang Hongjian, who was also kidnapped in the warehouse. The kidnappers demanded the ransom the next morning. This meant that he and Fang Hongjian were locked up for a night. Now that I think about it, this silver coin was really cruel, and it was also cruel to himself. I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to pretend to be frightened. When the Fang family arrived, Fang Hongjian did not come alone. There were several young people around him, both men and women. You can tell at first glance that he is his classmate. They are equally young, equally confident and proud, as if everything they have is the result of their own hard work. Fang Ping'an watched them go up to the second floor and disappear on the stairs without saying a word. Then he stood up and walked through the crowd towards the back door of the bar. After going out the back door, there was no other light source in the alley except for a light under the eaves of the bar's back door. There was no one in the alley. He found 2 bricks on the ground, replaced the coke in his bag with the bricks, then hid in the gap in the middle of the trash can and leaned against the steps at the back door. No matter who it is impossible for him to be seen from this position. He took out his cell phone, turned it to silent mode, and called Fang Hongjian. After a ring, he heard a deafening noise in the bar. Of course, even if he was hiding here, he could still hear some music through the door. Fang Hongjian, I'm at the back door of July Flower, where are you? He carefully identified the voice on the phone. Fang Hongjian's voice was loud. Wow, you're here quite early. Wait, I have something to say to someone and will be out right away. After saying that, he hung up. Fang Ping'an knew that if he had not left the Fang family, the appointment time should have been 11 o'clock, because in his previous life, it was already past 10 o'clock when Fang Hongjian called. Now the time has been advanced, and there is no one at the back door at this time. All he needed to do was wait. Only 5 minutes had passed. He looked at the time, and it was only 9:53 when a GL8 drove over. Fang Ping'an immediately put his cell phone into his trouser pocket, took off his shoulder bag, and wrapped the strap around his hand. After the car door opened, 2 men wearing hats got out of the car and looked around. Fang Ping'an curled himself up into a ball and listened to the 2 people muttering, "Where are the people? Didn't they say they've arrived?" Another person said, "I'm not sure, do you want to call and ask?" "I'm going to pee, you call that young master and ask him." Fang Ping'an watched as a man, smoking a cigarette, walked towards him. His heart was beating very fast, and sweat began to flow from his head. He originally thought that someone could easily kidnap him by covering his mouth with ether. I didn't expect it to be 2 people. This is different from what he imagined. If it was a single person, he could easily knock the other person out, and then use the other person's phone to tell Fang Hongjian that it was done. Then see if Fang Hongjian is with them. I didn't expect there are 2 of us now. Fang Ping'an was a little scared. He has 2 choices. One option is to continue hiding and not move, and then go home after these people leave. We can talk about how to take revenge on Fang Hongjian later. Another option is to knock down these 2, search for the ether, and then tie up Fang Hongjian when he comes. Although he can't drive, it doesn't matter. All he has to do is tie Fang Hongjian up. Then he used the kidnapper's cell phone to send a message to Fang Junhong asking for money, immediately, and then waited for Fang Junhong to come with bodyguards or call the police. By that time, the kidnapper just needs to confess, and he will have nothing to do with the matter. Everything was arranged and directed by Fang Hongjian. Fang Ping'an, who had always been hostile to Fang Hongjian, was just standing him up. The biggest problem now is that there are not 1 kidnapper, but 2. The man walked to the middle of the 2 large trash cans and started to release water. The other person had already taken out his cell phone and started making a call. Fang Ping'an's heart was beating wildly, and his hands began to tremble. He was not only nervous, but his mouth was extremely dry. The caller seemed to have been unable to get through, so he cursed a few words and started over again. The man who was peeing here finally finished. He turned around and pulled up the zipper of his pants. His body shook violently, and he stayed still for less than a second before falling to the ground. There were 2 bricks in Fang Ping'an's bag. He jumped out from the shadows and swung the bag in his hand hard, hitting the man on the head. At this time, Fang Ping'an's eyes were red from the stimulation of adrenaline. He didn't care about the guy lying on the ground, and walked towards another person with his back hunched. The person on the phone was waiting impatiently for the call to be connected, with the phone against his ear and his back facing him. Fang Ping'an suddenly rushed over and hit him hard on the back of the head with his shoulder bag. Watch the man fall straight down like a wooden stake. Fang Ping'an could no longer hear anything except the sound of his own heartbeat. He was too nervous. But it worked. He quickly picked up the man's phone and hung up, then hit him on the head twice more. Then he turned around and hit the guy who let the water go on the head with 2 bricks. The matter is done. The tension in his heart relaxed a little, but the cold sweat all over his body had completely soaked his clothes and hair. His mouth was so dry that he couldn't even swallow his saliva. The mouth seemed to have lost the ability to secrete saliva. After taking several deep breaths, he picked up the man's phone and looked at the number he had just dialed. It turned out to be that guy Fang Hongjian. After thinking for a moment, he wiped off his fingerprints with his clothes, put the phone in the hand of the man at his feet, and wiped it again. He felt very guilty, but he had no other choice at this point. After searching their trouser pockets, I found a bottle and a square towel. He unscrewed the bottle and took a sniff. I just felt a little dizzy instantly. It's confirmed that no matter what this thing is, it must be a drug. Fang Ping'an simply picked up the phone and sent a message to Fang Hongjian. Okay, don't call, come to the back door and leave together. After wiping his fingerprints clean, he held the phone with his clothes and put it directly into the man's hand. My heart is still beating very fast. Just now, he made a decision. If Fang Hongjian really came out from the back door, he just needed to knock Fang Hongjian unconscious and then hit him on the head a few times. There is no way I can die. After being knocked unconscious, he called the police directly. Fang Junheng, haha, never mind. Just get the police involved. He himself needs to provide proof of his alibi. He knew in his previous life that the camera was broken, so he wasn't worried about it at all. But he had never been so bold before, so he was definitely afraid. But when he thought about how Fang Hongjian had arranged for him to bleed to death in his previous life, he suddenly had the urge to kill him. Moreover, once this evil thought came together, it was impossible to suppress it. He gasped for a long time before hiding back in the dark crevice of the trash can. If Fang Hongjian comes out, he will definitely take action. If he didn't come, he would run back home. His palms were sweaty. If the bag wasn't wrapped around his hands, he would have thrown it away when he waved it. It only takes a minute or two to walk from the bar booth to the back door. If you go downstairs and then to the back door, it will take at most 2 more minutes. He waited with his heart pounding until he heard the sound of a door opening above his head. Chapter 47, Dating 2. 47. Fang Hongjian didn't take Fang Ping'an seriously at all. A stupid licker, cowardly and spineless. In the past few years at the Fang family, he went from being hostile at first to being able to embarrass Fang Ping'an by simply stirring up the emotions of the sisters. Can't take a beating at all. He would even tease her in a way that he himself did not like, making the third sister, who was the most easily provoked and had a bad temper, even more critical. Then he comforted the idiot, and the guy Fang Ping'an suddenly stood up and overturned the dinner table, which made him change his opinion of Fang Ping'an. Taking the initiative to sever ties with the Fang family forced him to start taking Fang Ping'an seriously. I asked Fang Ping'an to come over tonight, but I'm not sure whether he will come. Of course, he still made the necessary preparations. It's just 20,000 yuan. Zhu Weniao helped him contact one of his father's subordinates, and then he arranged for 2 people to come. His original intention was to let them take Fang Ping'an away and throw him into the sea. Disappear from this world. Anyway, no one in the family cares whether that guy lives or dies. And he himself didn't want to see Fang Ping'an's hateful face. He was still a little surprised when Fang Ping'an called him and told him that he had arrived. I didn't expect this guy would actually dare to come. After hanging up the phone, he notified the people who were heading this way and asked them to speed up. I didn't expect that I would succeed in just a few minutes. Just now, he left his cell phone on the coffee table and went to the bathroom. When he came back and saw the text message, he became happy. I just tried it casually, and unexpectedly it succeeded. Fang Ping'an, you are really obedient. He casually took out 20,000 yuan from his bag and threw it on the coffee table. I have something to do, so I have to leave first. You guys continue to have fun. Tonight's expenses will be on my account, but that's all. They all save money. Let's get together again before I go abroad. Great, Brother Jun is awesome. Mr. Fang, where are you going? What if the flowers are too much? Mr. Fang, if you leave, we won't have a good time tonight. Brother Jun, we sisters don't want you to leave either, ha ha ha. The men and women were flirting with each other. Fang Hongjun smiled and said, "Okay, I really have something to do, so it's not convenient for me to bring you along." After saying that, he turned and left. Several young men and women in the room were still shouting, "Master Fang won't take you with him. Who told you guys not to serve him well?" Then came the laughter and scolding of several girls. Fang Hongjun left the private room, and the wild and deafening music from downstairs suddenly reached his ears. As he went downstairs, he glanced at the bustling dance floor. The DJ was standing on the stage, twisting his waist and buttocks wildly. The piece of cloth that barely covered the key parts was also swaying with the rhythm. The men and women below swayed and twisted wildly to the rhythm. Fang Hongjun stared at DJ's twisting slender waist, suppressed his anger and walked downstairs. The rhythm of the music made his heart beat wildly, which was uncomfortable. He lit a cigarette and walked towards the back door through the aisle beside the dance floor with the cigarette in his mouth. After going down the stairs, turn around and you will see the passage leading to the bathroom. After the bathroom, continue to the end and turn right to reach the back door. There are 2 doors in the back door. The purpose is to reduce the disturbance of noise to the outside world. There are sound-absorbing structures all over the walls. He opened the door and walked out. A not too big platform, about 20 square meters, with a row of trash cans next to it. On the right side are 2 large trash cans, which look like the cargo boxes of dump trucks placed directly on the ground. An overhead light provided some brightness to the dead end, enough for the bar occupants to dump their trash. There was a station wagon parked next to the dumpster, its doors closed. The front of the car was heading towards the piles of beer bottles at the end of the alley. But the headlights weren't on, so he couldn't see clearly whether there was anyone in the car. Fang Hongjun was a little puzzled. Why didn't he turn around? There were stairs on the left side of the platform, and he went down them. I didn't see anyone around. There was no light from any cigarette butts in the car, as if there was no one there. The air was filled with the smell of garbage, which made him feel a little uncomfortable. And except himself, there seemed to be no one here. He felt a little terrified. Mustering up his courage, he walked towards the car. As I reached the first trash bin, I felt a gust of wind, and then my mouth and nose were covered by a strong hand. The sudden panic made him forget to fight back. He struggled hard. He could feel his mouth and nose being covered tightly by something wet. My head started to feel dizzy. Anesthetic drug. These words flashed through his mind, and a deep fear welled up in his heart. The person I asked you to kidnap was Fang Pingen, not me. Fuck. The person behind him said nothing, and covered his nose and mouth tightly. Fang Hongjun made a humming sound. His consciousness became increasingly blurred, and then his body slowly went limp. Fang Pingen, sweating profusely, didn't dare to let go. He held his breath and covered Fang Hongjun's mouth and nose tightly. He didn't let go until he felt Fang Hongjun had completely softened. Sitting on the ground, Fang Pingen was gasping for breath. Tension and fear and the rapid secretion of adrenaline caused his clothes to be completely soaked with sweat. The sweat on his head was flowing crazily, and it made him feel very uncomfortable when it flowed into the corners of his eyes. His heart was beating like a drum, and he even felt that he could hear his own heartbeat. Sitting on the ground, Fang Pingen wiped the sweat off his face and panted heavily. After catching his breath for a while, he got up and hit Fang Hongjun hard on the head with a few bricks. "Damn it, I'll let you show off. You are always in a weird mood and full of tea. Let you frame me. You kidnapped me." He finally vented his anger after banging a few bricks. Looking back, I saw 2 guys lying in the gap between 2 big trash cans. He used all his strength to drag these 2 out and threw them next to Fang Hongjun. Wiping the sweat off his forehead again, he looked at the bloodstains and dragging marks on the ground, muttering to himself. He didn't know if he would expose himself, but I can't care about that now. The brick was thrown into the trash can. The shoulder bag was stained with a lot of blood. After thinking about it, he simply flipped in and buried the shoulder bag in the huge trash can. Now he not only smelled of sweat, but also of garbage. The smell made him almost vomit. It smells really bad. Now that everything was done, Fang Pingen began to feel a little scared. He was worried that these 3 guys would be beaten to death by him. If you inhale too much of something like ether, will you die? If Fang Hongjun died, it would be a homicide. The police will never let go. No one ever comes to this dead end, because no one would come there anyway. He tightened his hat and left quickly. When he reached the street, he lowered his head and quickened his pace towards the nearby night market. Chapter 48, Regret and Fear. The nearest night market is on Dihong North Road. The bar is located at the intersection of three main streets. I don't know much about other things along the way, but at least there are cameras at every intersection. This is common sense. Fang Ping'an can see the existence of the camera without deliberately looking up, although he couldn't tell which one was related to public security. If the police checked, these cameras could provide information. If they took a detour, they would have to pass through a small park, which he remembered had a fountain. To be on the safe side, he took out his cell phone, opened the map, and checked it. Sure enough, walking northwest for about 300 meters and 1 block away, you will find the park. Fang Ping'an hesitated for a moment, then walked towards the park. That fountain was where he washed himself. The weather was very hot, but I felt refreshed after washing with cold water. I was wet all over, and when the night wind blew, I suddenly felt cold. He started jogging towards the night market. The night market on Dihong North Road is not a snack street. There are mainly 3 types of items sold: toys, shoes, and clothing accessories. It was a very crowded time, and everyone was strolling around like they were enjoying the cool breeze, choosing whatever they liked at will. The sounds of bargaining were heard one after another, and it was very lively. Fang Ping'an threw his hat into a trash can on the side of the road, then followed the crowd and started picking out what he wanted. He could clearly smell the faint smell of garbage on himself. Although it's not strong, you can still smell it if you get close. It's mainly the smell on the clothes. He easily bought a new set of clothes and changed his shoes, then carried the clothes and shoes in a plastic bag and continued on his way. Just find a neighborhood and walk in, then throw all your clothes and pants into the recycling box for used clothes and leave. After changing his clothes, he began to recall the details of what had happened before. There is something I did that is too obvious or leaves clear traces. He didn't know whether those 3 guys would die. But if he really died, he would not be able to escape. At least there are call records with him in Fang Hongjian's mobile phone. The police will definitely look for him to question him when the time comes, to cooperate with the investigation. But can I stand the scrutiny? He didn't know if what he was doing was right. He is still very scared until now, afraid the police would find him. After all, he didn't have enough evidence to prove where he was during this time, and there were no witnesses to provide proof. Although he was wearing a hat when he came out of the alley, he believed that the surveillance cameras on the road must have seen his figure. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that he had made too many omissions. The beating was a spur-of-the-moment decision. Besides, they shouldn't have released Fang Hongjian from the blacklist out of spite in the first place. This is simply looking for trouble. How can I make my whereabouts appear more reasonable? Although there is a gap in time in between, what if he can give a plausible reason? So what is the reason for this to happen? He thought about it and couldn't figure out what reason to use. He stopped when he saw the neon sign of an internet cafe. Instinctively, Fang Ping'an began to recall how Fang Hongjian handled things after doing some shameful things when he was in the spiritual state. But he discovered that the two were completely different things. He simply walked into an internet cafe, turned on a computer, put on headphones, and turned on an American TV series. But his mind was not on the plot at all. After thinking for a long time, he felt a little regretful. I should have hidden in the gap between the big trash can and the back door platform, until those 2 people couldn't wait any longer and just left. Anyway, as long as I don't show up, there is basically no danger. Using this method, it can also be confirmed whether Fang Hongjian has arranged for someone to kidnap him like in his previous life. As long as you can hear the sound of them making a phone call, you can basically confirm it. But what if Fang Hongjian continues to attack me in a different way because I didn't come? For example, the most common one is to go to the hospital and find a person who is driven crazy by money to hit him with his car. Or maybe find someone who wants to die and stab him directly on the street. These possibilities are not non-existent, but very high. The more Fang Ping'an thought about it, the more likely it seemed. Therefore, it shouldn't be wrong for me to take action first. But the bad thing is that we don't know whether Fang Hongjian is dead or alive. If I get involved because of his death, my life will be ruined. Haven't started college yet. I still have an unlimited future. With his photographic memory, he should have a bright future. All of this has become a suspense. The more he thought about it, the more scared he became. When he thought of his family, he remembered to tell his parents. I picked up my phone and saw that there were indeed several missed calls. He quickly took off his headphones and went back. Chen Xiaohua had already begun to comfort Liu Qing at this time. She didn't know where her adopted son was now, and he didn't answer her phone calls. She didn't know if something had happened to him. When he thought of his family, he remembered to tell his parents. I picked up my phone and saw that there were indeed several missed calls. He quickly took off his headphones and went back. At this time, Chen Xiaohua was patiently comforting Liu Qing. She didn't know where her adopted son was now, and he didn't answer her phone calls. She didn't know if something had happened to him. After hearing the phone ring, he glanced at the screen and quickly said to Liu Qing, Okay, I called back safely. I said he was busy and might not have heard it. After saying that, he answered the phone. Liu Qing finally breathed a sigh of relief, but her eyes were still fixed on her husband. Hey, Ping'an, where are you? Dad, I'm watching American TV series in the internet cafe. I'm not going home tonight. Fang Ping'an tried his best to make his voice sound calm. It's like nothing happened. Chen Xiaohua frowned slightly. You're not coming back. Are you planning to stay in the internet cafe all night? Not going to sleep. Fang Ping'an explained. Dad, I'll go back after I finish watching. After turning on the hands-free function, Chen Xiaohua asked, Are you planning to sleep directly in the internet cafe? If you don't come back, please be careful about your safety and don't get into conflicts with others. Internet cafes are a messy place. Fang Ping'an agreed repeatedly. Well, don't worry. Yeah, I know, don't worry. I will be back early tomorrow morning. Liu Qing sat aside without saying a word. She was very relieved about Ping'an. When the child was young, he was very obedient. When he went out to play occasionally, he would tell them where he was going, who he was with, etc. The child is grown up now and has been living in the Fang family for the past 4 years, and he is not happy there. Now that the college entrance examination is over, it's okay for children to let loose a little. So she said nothing. He stood up and poured water to wash his feet. As soon as Fang Ping'an hung up the phone, he asked for a night away. I just called my family, and I seem to be in a much better mood and not as nervous anymore. Although the 2 kidnappers were bought by Fang Hongzhen, they actually had no chance to attack him. On the contrary, he knocked the 2 men unconscious with a brick, and it was unknown whether they were dead or not. If this happened, would I also be shot? I haven't even started college yet. I didn't accomplish a lot of things in my previous life, and I don't want to miss out again in this life because of killing someone. The more I think about it, the more scared I get. The more I think about it, the more I regret it. I regret that I shouldn't have been impulsive. If I really killed someone, my life would be ruined. The crime of intentional homicide is punishable by death. His body began to tremble uncontrollably, and he even started to sob softly. A fat guy who was playing a game next to him turned his head and looked at him in confusion. I said, You're watching a zombie movie and crying. Fang Ping'an cried and regretted his impulsiveness. He was so excited at the time that he thought about how to do it in a very short time, and then he did it directly. The planned call to the police was not made, let alone contacting other people. I was just thinking about all sorts of things, and finally fell asleep on the sofa. When the network administrator came over and saw that he was asleep, he ignored him. Soon, there were basically no people from society in the internet cafe, except for the students who had just finished the college entrance examination. On the other hand, the Juliflower Bar called the police at around 2 a.m. Because the back door is not only a place to dump garbage, but also a place to pile up empty wine bottles. The countless bottles of wine produced every night would be packed into baskets and placed in the open space at the back, waiting to be taken away when the new wine was delivered the next afternoon. Not only was there a car parked in the open space at the back door of the bar, but there were also 3 people lying next to the car. It was not known whether they were dead or not. The waiter who was carrying out the basket to put the empty bottles in was almost scared to death. It was the middle of the night, and suddenly seeing 3 people lying on the ground would scare anyone. So they ran back and reported the situation to the manager. Then, the manager stood on the stage, looked at the situation, and called the police directly. In order to avoid getting the bar into trouble, they didn't even touch the 3 people or the bodies lying on the ground. 3 police cars arrived at the scene quickly. The ambulance also rushed over with a ziwa-ziwa sound. The 3 people didn't know whether to live or die. It could be a big case. The duty chief of the police station has arrived. The scene looks quite grand. The manager of the Juliflower Bar finally breathed a sigh of relief after confirming that no one had died. Although the camera on the back door had been broken for a long time, at least he had done what he could. He didn't even inform the big boss. Based on experience, this matter doesn't require the big boss to step in. No one died, so the bar doesn't need to close. That's good. He didn't care who was on the ground outside. Anyway, my boss is not too far from being omnipotent in Yuncheng. Besides, the boss seldom comes here. He smoked a few cigarettes with the director and then sent the police away. The ambulance left immediately. The station wagon was also taken away by the police. In this case, if someone calls the police, there is no way to file a case if no one reports it. These were things Fang Ping'an had not expected. At this time, he had fallen asleep on the sofa in the internet cafe. There was still a faint smell of garbage on his body. Chapter 49, You Are Too Inhumane. When Fang Hongjian woke up, it was already the third day. He was a little confused and couldn't remember many things. In other words, he forgot a lot of things because of the blood clot in his head. Fang Junhong was shocked and angry. After seeing the last call record was from Fang Ping'an, he immediately believed that Fang Ping'an was the murderer. The other two victims claimed that Master Fang Hongjian invited them to meet at the back door. As for the purpose of meeting at the back door, they said they didn't know, and they were knocked unconscious before they even saw young Master Fang. As for the text message they sent to Fang Hongjian, there was no explanation at all. What's okay? Come to the back door and walk together. This is easy to understand. But where to go together? What are you going to do? This is another topic that is difficult to explain. The two hesitant people were under strict police surveillance. Although they were in the hospital, they could not leave. The police need to wait until Fang Hongjian recovers his memory before making further judgment. The hospital's diagnosis was that the three people suffered blunt force trauma to the head and had severe concussions. The youngest one, Fang Hongjian, had blood clots in his head and needed major surgery. Fang Junhong made a big fuss in the police station, and then Fang Ping'an was taken to the police station. Chen Xiuhui didn't know about this because she was at school, but Chen Xiaohua and his wife were completely shocked. What's going on? My family Ping'an was involved in a case where someone was seriously injured. Fang Ping'an's phone is set not to answer any unfamiliar calls. This forced the police to find Chen Xiaohua and take Fang Ping'an away from the driving school. This time the matter got out of hand. The coach looked with regret as his obedient disciple, who offered a packet of cigarettes as an offering every day, followed the police into the car and left. Fang Ping'an sat in the inquiry room, feeling very nervous. But he can still control his facial expressions. I was just nervous. My heart was beating fast and sweat was on my forehead. It's nothing, those policemen were also sweating. The weather is too hot. Fang Ping'an, where were you between 9:30 and 10 last Saturday night? The two police officers who were questioning looked calm and not stern at all. Fang Ping'an pretended to be thinking, then simply said that he went to the July Flower Bar. It was around 10 o'clock. I left the bar, walked around the street, and then went to an internet cafe to watch the latest season of the American TV series, Mr. Black. This was the most appropriate explanation he could think of. Because the surveillance cameras inside the bar definitely had footage of him, he couldn't deny it. I just admitted it generously. What time did you go to the bar, and what time did you leave? Fang Ping'an clearly felt that the police officer's tone had become a little harsher. It's probably around 9 o'clock. I didn't notice the exact time. It was probably around 10 o'clock when we left. Fang Ping'an answered with his head down. Recording can usually only be done with the presence of two police officers at the same time, one taking notes and the other asking questions. Fang Ping'an knew this. He answered in a very calm tone. Why did you go to the bar? Fang Hongjian asked me to meet him at the back door of July Flower Bar at 10 o'clock. I had never been to that bar. That was my first time there. Because I was a little worried, I went early. Later, I went to the back door to take a look and felt that the place was not safe, so I called him. But he asked me to wait in a dark alley behind the bar. I got scared, so I stood him up and left. Why do you feel unsafe? Why are you afraid? The two policemen looked at each other and continued asking questions. Fang Ping'an looked up at the two police officers and said seriously, I'm afraid he'll hire someone to do me a favor and take away my inheritance. The two police officers stared at each other. Walmart, this is interesting. Fang Ping'an talked freely. I am the son of Fang Junhong and Zhao Wei. I have 4 older sisters, blah, blah, blah. I was adopted by my adoptive father Chen Xiaohua from an orphanage when I was young, and I didn't return to the Fang family until I was 14 years old. Bala bala. But no one in the Fang family cared about me and kept me living in the servant's room, blah, blah. Fang Hongjian is my father's illegitimate son and has the same inheritance rights. I discovered this by accident when I was a sophomore in high school, blah, blah, blah. I was under too much pressure and in a bad mood before the college entrance examination. One night, I beat up Fang Hongjian. That day, my father Fang Junhong kicked me out of the Fang family, blah blah blah. Later, I told my second sister that Fang Hongjun was my half-brother. My second sister told me a few days ago that I was in danger. You can confirm this with my second sister. Even though my father has severed ties with me, and I now live with my adoptive parents, my sister still thinks I'm in danger. I am the top scorer in science in the province this year, and I will be going to Beijing University in September. These are all things that can be checked. I was afraid that he would hire someone to cripple or kill me, and then my future would be ruined. Although I don't care about the Fang family's wealth, I want to go to college. He invited me to meet him at the bar, and I still have the recording of the call. I just want to know what he wants to do by asking me out. If I could, I would even beat him up again. Bala bala blah blah. The two policemen were delighted. We were asking here, and ended up eating such a huge melon. The Fang family also has such a thing. A wealthy family is indeed a wealthy family, exactly the same as in the TV dramas. Illegitimate children and the like are the best. Oh, in this phone recording, Fang Hongjun is indeed blatant. Oh, so when you were in your second year of high school, you followed Fang Hongjun and wanted to beat him up, but you discovered the secret that he was an illegitimate child. Fang Pingan, you are very, very unlucky. While eating melon, he wrote furiously. When have the two policemen ever heard such a big first-hand news? Oh shit. Oh shit. Your mom and sister don't like you. Tusk tusk tusk, poor little thing. What, you are the one who won the straight lottery. Holy crap, you're so rich. Fang Pingan, you can do it. Being so rich, he really doesn't care much about the Fang family's property. This is credible to a certain extent. No, that was before you got rich. Little Fang Pingan, it seems that you are still a suspect in this matter. What? No one can help you prove you were not at the crime scene between 9:50 and 10. Oh, Fang Pingan, this is difficult to deal with. Although we sympathize with your situation, the law is here. You are a major suspect. Fang Pingan lowered his head. Oh, I knew there was no way out of this. Fang Pingan was thus listed as a major suspect. This made Chen Xiaohua, who was waiting at the door of the police station after hearing the news, so anxious that he turned around in circles. Liu Qing was crying her heart out and kept urging him to contact the capital. On the other hand, the two kidnappers were even more unlucky. Fang Hongjun had no way to provide them with proof. They also couldn't explain clearly why Fang Hongjun asked them to go, and what the okay meant. The two were kept in the hospital, and even after they recovered, they were not allowed to leave Yuncheng and had to wait for news at any time. Director Pan was stunned when Fang Junhong said that Fang Pingan was the biggest suspect. The police looked at him with strange eyes. What, Daddy? Although they are both my biological sons, you as a father are too partial. My son was lost when he was young. After he was found, instead of feeling sorry for him and giving him more care, you treat him like trash. And signed a severance agreement. You are so inhumane. The result was that Fang Pingan was a suspect, but there was insufficient evidence. Whether it's that the police have insufficient evidence to prove Fang Pingan is the murderer, or Fang Pingan has insufficient evidence to prove his innocence. In the end, Fang Pingan was fine, and with the halo of being the top student in science, he was allowed to go back. But before school starts, you are not allowed to leave Yuncheng and must keep your phone open at all times. That's not all that made Fang Junhong angry. The little bastard revealed that he, Qin Balian and Fang Hongjun were illegitimate children. This made Fang Junhong feel both ashamed and angry. If the police hadn't stopped him, he would have rushed over and strangled Fang Pingan to death. His hair was standing on end with rage and his eyes were red, and he looked just like a ghost. Fang Pingan also learned about Fang Hongjun's illness from the police. After expressing his heartfelt sympathy, he followed Chen Xiaohua and Liu Qing home. Fang Junhong pointed at him and cursed at him, and Qin Balian, who was standing next to him, had a face full of resentment. But without sufficient evidence, there is no way to file a case. There are too many strange things in this matter, and the police are not sure what happened. Director, poor kid, his biological parents and family members didn't love him. He endured for 4 years and finally had the courage to leave. Not only did he win the lottery, but he also won the first place in science. What a good boy. Although there is suspicion, there is no evidence now, right? Is it possible to detain the top scholar for no reason? This will ruin the children's future. No, we can't do this. The director waved his hand and said, let the child go home safely. They will be the pillars of the country in the future. Don't scare the child. Fang Junhong and Qin Balian could only feel helpless and furious at this moment. Qin Balian really wanted to kill that bastard Fang Ping'an, but at this moment, she could only lie in Fang Junheng's arms and cry. Fang Junheng never expected that Zhao Wei would act so quickly. Beijing, the old house of the Fang family. Zhao Yunlong brought Zhao Wei to visit. Faced with the 3 appraisal reports, photos, videos, and recordings as evidence, Fang Junyi, the current head of the Fang family, was completely stunned. At this time, Zhao Wei didn't know that her own son had beaten the little bastard silly. If you knew, you would probably laugh out loud. Her eyes were red and swollen, but she said nothing and just lowered her head slightly. To be fair, it is not surprising for a wealthy family to have an illegitimate child, and it is not necessary for the Zhao family to come to them. The Zhao family has no right to interfere in the Fang family's internal affairs. The key point is that Fang Junheng was deceiving Zhao Wei from the beginning to the end. What was even more unacceptable to the Zhao family was that Fang Junheng personally handed his illegitimate son over to Zhao Wei to raise. Perhaps from the very beginning when the 2 families got married, Fang Junheng never gave up on Qin Balian. Whether it is or not, as long as the Zhao family thinks it is, then that is it. This requires an explanation from Fang Junyi, the current head of the Fang family. Otherwise, the Zhao family will use all their connections to either clean up the Fang group in Yuncheng or move against the Fang family in Beijing. The reputation of a wealthy family is sometimes more important than interests. But for Zhao Yunlong, this is the best opportunity to make the most of his money. No doubt about it. Wasn't Chapter 50 found back long ago? 50. There are 4 children in this generation of the Fang family, and Fang Junyi controls the Fang family. For a reason that happened long ago, Fang Junheng went to the south alone to develop the market. The 3rd brother, Fang Junhao, is a military man and now works in the public security system in Beijing. The 4th sister, Fang Ruohan, also married a soldier. Although she made great achievements in the army, it was not enough. Looking at the Zhao family as a whole, there is only one person who develops in politics, but all of his marriage partners are very powerful. Zhao Yunlong, the eldest son of the Zhao family, controls the Zhao family. Not to mention the business, Zhao Yunlong married the daughter of the Ma family in northeast China. In both the political and business circles of northeast China, the Ma family is the leader. Zhao Yunkai, the 2nd son of the Zhao family, is the deputy minister of the Ministry of Commerce of Shanghai, and is almost at the top of Shanghai. His wife Tang Yan is the 3rd daughter of the Tang family. She is backed by the Tang family, the richest family in Shanghai, not to mention the Tang family's connections in the political arena. At present, Zhao Wei's biological son is the provincial champion in science. How could the Zhao family give in even a little bit? If you don't take a big bite at the Fang family, you will be doing a disservice to Zhao Yunlong's good teeth. After listening and watching, Fang Junyi suddenly felt overwhelmed. Before leaving, Zhao Yunlong gave Zhao Wei instructions. When she arrived at the Fang family and met Fang Junyi, she was not allowed to say a single word. Otherwise, he wouldn't care about it. This made Zhao Wei very cautious. Although she hated the Fang family very much, this was not the time or place for her to act recklessly. Brother Zhao, since you have come here in person, this matter must be true. No matter what, I will give you an explanation. Let me call Fang Junheng first. What? Fang Junheng and Qin Balian have known each other since they were in college in Beijing. Apart from their family backgrounds, they can be said to be truly in love. Before he graduated from university, the Qin family's backer fell from power, and the Qin family quickly split up and was soon divided up by various families in the capital. After Qin Balian had her first miscarriage, he vowed to treat her well and never change his mind for the rest of his life. Sure enough, he remained loyal to her and never changed his mind. At that time, the Fang family was not as powerful as it is now. Father Fang Zhehan has high hopes for each of his sons, eager to expand the business empire as quickly as possible and enter the circle of top wealthy families. After he brought Qin Balian home, he was directly rejected by Fang Zhehan. Not only his father, but even his mother looked down on Qin Balian. The main reason is that the Qin family has fallen into decline, and their marriage will not bring any benefits to the family. Instead, Qin Balian wanted to revitalize the Qin family through the Fang family. In this way, the Fang family will have to pay more. It was in the 2nd year after he graduated from university that the Fang family took the initiative to form a marriage alliance with the Zhao family, and he met Zhao Wei. In terms of appearance, Zhao Wei was prettier than Qin Balian at that time and had a better figure. More innocent, like a little white flower understanding nothing. When the two met for the first time, Zhao Wei fell in love with the young and handsome Fang Junhong at first sight. Fang Junhong was in a difficult situation at that time. On the one hand, he truly loved Qin Beilian, but on the one hand, she could not bring any help to either him or the Fang family. On the other side is the innocent Zhao Wei. Although she is a naive girl, the Zhao family can bring more tangible benefits to him and the Fang family. While Fang Junhong was trying to appease Qin Beilian, he married Zhao Wei, and the next year they had Fang Qingyan. Later, Qin Beilian had 2 consecutive miscarriages, which made Fang Junhong suspect that Qin Beilian did it on purpose in order to torture him. But Zhao Wei has never given him a son, which makes him very worried that his family line will be cut off in the future. Unexpectedly, Zhao Wei gave birth to 4 daughters for him in one go, and he began to focus on Qin Beilian again. Later, they both became pregnant one after another. Fang Junhong took even more careful care of Qin Beilian, fearing that she would have another miscarriage. If I have another miscarriage, I probably won't be able to have another child in the future. Fortunately, both Qin Beilian and Zhao Wei successfully completed their 10-month pregnancies. When Fang Pingyan was born, Qin Beilian was also in the hospital waiting to give birth. The 2 children were born less than a month apart. After Fang Pingyan went missing from the hospital, he not only had to comfort Zhao Wei, but also had to accompany Qin Beilian during the delivery. During that period, Fang Junhong ran back and forth and was exhausted. Fortunately, Qin Beilian gave birth to a son smoothly, which made both him and Qin Beilian ecstatic. It was also because Fang Pingyan was lost that Qin Beilian asked him to take her child Fang Hongjun back and forged documents saying that he was brought back from an orphanage. This would not only guarantee his son's life and future education, but would also make it possible for him to successfully inherit Fang Junhong's property. Moreover, it can also comfort Zhao Wei. Fang Junhong got so excited that he carried Fang Hongjun back home. Qin Beilian goes to Fang Hongjun's school almost every day. No matter it is kindergarten, elementary school, junior high school, or high school, she can see Fang Hongjun's growth every day. And now her only child was lying in the hospital. How could she not want to kill Fang Pingyan? By the way, she hated Zhao Wei to the core. Fang Junhong was comforting Qin Beilian in the hospital and swore to take Fang Hongjun to Country M for surgery. Qin Beilian cried so hard that he felt extremely distressed. When his cell phone rang, he answered it without even looking at it, feeling extremely annoyed. "Hello?" Fang Junyi heard his impatient tone and didn't say anything more. "Mr. Zhao Yuanlong, the head of the Zhao family, is sitting with me now, along with Zhao Wei. No matter what happens to you, bring your illegitimate child with you and return to the capital today. I will wait for you at the old house." After saying that, he hung up the phone. When I looked up, there was a smile on my face. "Brother Zhao, how about this? I don't know the specific situation, and I can't do anything to my second brother with the things you brought. Otherwise, you and your sister-in-law should go back first. When that bastard arrives tomorrow, I'll take them to apologize. What do you think?" What? Qin Beilian was still crying, but when she saw Fang Junhong's face change drastically, she dared not cry anymore. "Junhong, what's wrong? Who's calling?" Fang Junhong looked at Qin Beilian, whose face was still covered with tears, and helplessly put down his phone and sighed. "My elder brother asked me to take Hongjun to Beijing. Zhao Wei knows about you and Hongjun's affair." Qin Beilian's expression also changed. She didn't find out for so many years. How come she suddenly knows now? Fang Junhong shook his head, glanced at Fang Hongjun lying on the bed, and whispered, "I have to book a ticket now. Fly to Beijing this afternoon or evening and come back in a few days. Take good care of Hongjun here. If there is anything, call me." Fang Junhong was so busy that he had no time to rest. What he didn't know was that back in Beijing, Zhao Wei had already found her eldest brother with her daughter. Zhao Yuanlong is not only Zhao Wei's elder brother, but also the head of the Zhao family. "What? 1 day ago, your second brother told me your thoughts," Zhao Yuanlong said while drinking tea. "But little sister, you have to know. It is normal for families like the Fang family, the Huo family, the Chen family, and our family to have a few illegitimate children. If you want the mother and child to die, that is definitely not possible. We really can't help you with anything regarding your request. It would be easier if you didn't have a son yourself." Zhao Wei understood immediately after listening. She has been thinking a lot these days. In any case, killing is not okay. This is not an option, either at home or abroad, especially since the Zhao family is not involved in organized crime and has no such connections abroad. But she was just very angry. She was angry that Fang Junhong had concealed the fact that Fang Hongjun was his illegitimate son, and had let her raise him for 18 years as if he were her own son. Her anger came more from the fact that she had given 18 years of hard work to an illegitimate child. If he was really just an adopted son, she probably wouldn't be so angry. I'm just angry. Fang Junhong lied to me for 20 years. It's also possible that he was lying to me and our Zhao family from the beginning when he married me. Brother, I can't swallow this breath. Zhao Yunlong also saw it clearly. Fang Junhong will arrive in the capital tomorrow, and that old fox Fang Junyi will bring him along tomorrow. As for the illegitimate child, there is no need to see him again. Qin Balian and her son were sent abroad, and you were given more shares of the Fang family in Yuncheng. This matter was handled like this, and it should be an acceptable result for everyone. As for the matter of defrauding my Zhao family, the Fang family will naturally give up some of their interests. Otherwise, Fang Junyi wouldn't have said that he came to apologize. What do you think? Zhao Wei shook her head and said, Brother, since you have come forward in this matter, it is useless for me to be dissatisfied. I am 50 years old. I still have 4 daughters, and Ping'an has severed ties with us. She began to cry and sob again. Zhao Yunlong frowned and asked, Fang Ping'an, I have never seen this child. How is he? Zhao Wei continued to shake her head. I have always taken better care of Hongjun. We have lived together for 18 years. I have raised him from a baby to the present day. Emotionally, I am more inclined towards him. Zhao Yunlong raised his eyebrows and asked, Didn't you find it back a long time ago? Could it be that after Ping'an was found, you still favored Fang Hongjun? Zhao Wei cried, It's my fault. Not only me, we are all closer to Hongjun. Ping'an is a child that looks cowardly and timid. His adoptive parents are also ordinary citizens, and they didn't raise him well. Shut up, Zhao Yunlong found it unbelievable. I have found my son, so I should at least compensate him. You should give him more compensation both emotionally and materially to make up for the mistake of losing him. Not only that, but he also had to make up for the parental love he had been missing for more than 10 years. What about you? No wonder the kid cut ties with you. From what I can see, that child is not a coward at all. On the contrary, he is much stronger than you. An 18-year-old child could do something like severing ties with you. You can imagine how desperate that child was at the time. Zhao Wei just cried and didn't dare to talk back. She knew she was wrong, terribly wrong. He even lost his only son. But isn't this because Fang Junhong lied to her for 18 years? No longer. Fang Junhong must have never been separated from Qin Balian. They must have been together long before Fang Hongjun was born. Otherwise, Fang Hongjun would not have been born. Moreover, Fang Junhong asked her to raise his illegitimate child. This was really vicious. The more I thought about it, the more I felt wronged, and the more I felt that Fang Junhong deserved to die. When Zhao Yunlong saw her lowering her head with tears dripping, his heart softened. Forget it, you go out and let Qingyan come in. I have something to ask her. Zhao Wei stood up and looked him in the eyes. Brother, I'm not going back to Yuncheng. I'm staying in Beijing. Ping'an is the top scorer in science in Yunnan province this year. I asked his school teacher, and he applied to study finance at Peking University. I want to stay in the capital and accompany him.